I get compliments literally all the time when I do this makeup look, and it is my go-to. I've got it down to a science. So if you want to see how I get my classic full glam, keep watching. Okay, let's get started. I just have my skincare on, and then I put this Polite Society like lip balm on my lips. They sent it to me, and it is so good, along with this rose water. So I'm gonna do a little spritz of this just to hydrate my face before we get into all the base. Starting off with my e.l.f. Power Grip with niacinamide. You can use the green one too. I don't really know if I notice a difference, but I love this for a long wearing and high coverage look. You want to wait until it's tacky. You can see my skin is like bouncing back before you go and then put on foundation. I'm going to use my House Labs foundation. This is in the shade 200. Everything that I use today is going to be linked on my Amazon storefront. It's in my bio. I love this foundation, but another good alternative is the It Cosmetics CC cream as well. This is what one layer of that looks like. I'm gonna go in with just like another half pump to go over like all the areas that I want a little bit more coverage. Usually that's like my cheeks and my chin or wherever I'm breaking out. I always use a beauty blender. That's just personal preference. And make sure to blend down your neck and even on your ears, especially if you fake tan like me and nothing on your face matches the rest of your body. There's still some really stubborn little spots, so I'm going back and covering them up with my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, and this is in the shade Madeline. I go over it, I let it sit and dry for a little bit, and then I'll go back and then just blend it out with my beauty blender. This is what we're looking like after I did a little bit of concealer. Now I'm gonna cream contour. I use the LYS contour stick in the shade Harmony. And this stuff, if there's anything you take from this video, this stuff is amazing. I love it. I cannot do without it. And it blends out so easily. So I'll go in and do my cheekbones and my forehead. And then I'll also come back and do like my nose and some other little areas too. Now for this, I do use a brush. This is like a little angled brush from Bosma. And I just tap it in an upward motion, making sure not to drag down any parts of my face. Now that my cheekbones and forehead are blended out, I always go down at the sides of my nose and the tip of it, and then also on my eyes, just like this to give a base for the eyeshadow. Also a little bit on the chin just to blend it into my neck. I'm going in and concealing now with my Tarte Shape Tape in 16N. I do two little spots under my eyes and then flick it out on the outer corners of my eyes like a wing, and then I will sit and let that dry and then go back and blend it out. I let it dry for about a minute or so, and then I'm going to go back in with my beauty blender and start blending that out. It's really important in this step to keep a sharp line up against your nose so you don't mess up any of the cream contour that we did earlier, and then also really maintain this sharp line on the outer end of your eye. Concealer is all done, so now I'm going to do cream blush. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills cream blush, and this guy is in Guava. It's like this dusty pink color. When I'm blending out my blush, I like to keep it on the very tops of my cheekbones and then also kind of diffuse out the line that we had earlier from the concealer. If you ever feel like it's getting a little too pink underneath the eye, I'll go back and flip my beauty blender and then re-blend the concealer down. Since one blush is never enough for me, I'm going to use my Bosma cream blush, and this is in Bubblegum Pink. Just tapping that over. This one I do use the brush that comes with it. It's like a little flat brush. And then again, just focusing on the highest points of my cheekbones and tapping that over. Here is an up close at all of our cream products laid down, super glowy. And now we're gonna go in with all of our powder products. First things first is to start with a loose setting powder. I like the Huda Beauty in Pound Cake, and I put it on a little powder puff. I will go under and rough set underneath my eyes and in my T-zone. As you can see, I'm much more mattified underneath my eyes and in my T-zone. And I only do those areas because then I'm gonna go in with all my powder products, starting with powder bronzer. I love the Physicians Formula. I wanna say this is in the shade Deep, but they're all so good. Such a great little drugstore find. And then I put that on a big fluffy brush, and I just tap over where I did cream contour earlier. The key to this makeup look is honestly just layering and layering lightly. Don't rush it, and just keep adding things till you like the way it looks. That's what I do, and it always turns out perfect. Again, making sure to blend that bronzer down your neck, and then I also love to go in, and I'll just use the same brush and pinch it and run it down the sides of my nose. I feel like my bronzer is exactly where I want it to be, so now I'm gonna go over with my blush. I love the Milani Luminoso blush. That's another like great drugstore blush. And then again, just tapping and adding layers till I like the color. I love a sparkly blush, so I'm gonna use the one size. This is like one of the little trios, and I have the tiniest bit left of the sparkly one down here. So I'm just gonna put that on an even smaller brush and tap that over on the highest points of my cheekbones for a little extra glow. Here's an up close at everything after powder products. How stunning is that blush? I wish they would just make a single of it because I would be the first to buy it. Now I'm going back and baking using my same loose powder from Huda Beauty on my powder puff. And then I'm gonna carve out my cheekbones and then also underneath my eyes. So you can see when I bake, I'm following that same line, like the snatched up line, and then also keeping it really, really crisp on my jawline too. I'll let that sit and then we can wipe it away later, so don't worry if it looks a little too crazy. Okay, I'm gonna do my eyebrows off camera, but I just use a little powder. I use that one from my Makeup by Mario Master Mats on a little brush, and then I'll just fill them in. But let me do that so I can focus, and then I'll come back and we'll finish them. I have my eyebrows filled in with some powder, but I've been loving using this NYX Lift and Snatch pen just for the very, very fronts of my eyebrow to fill them in a little bit more. I like how it looks like hair instead of just like you're filling them in. So I'm gonna do that and then I'll gel them down. The eyebrow gel I've been loving lately is the Maybelline Super Lock. They make it in colors, but I've just been buying the clear, and it's like a lamination type brow gel. So if you like that, you will love this. We're gonna move on to eyes. We're gonna do just like my favorite go-to look. I always use the Makeup by Mario Master Mats palette. I'm gonna use this like big fluffy brush and tap into these lighter browns, just mixing them together and then swiping that all over my lid and in my crease. I'm just gonna deepen the outer corner with these two guys right here on a little bit of a more tapered brush, and just deepening my outer corner the slightest bit. Now that we have everything blended out, it's just like a light brown kind of smoky eye look. I'm going in with Patrick Ta Talk to My Team in this like light champagne color. I just put it on my finger and then I will just tap it on the lid, and then I'll go back and make sure to blend it back out too. Here is that glitter, and then I'm gonna go in and do underneath my eyes just with those same two lighter shades and smoke it out on like a tapered fluffy brush. I'm gonna deepen it just a little bit more with those two darker shades on a really, really thin brush just to get in that lash line and darken it up. To finish it off, I always do a little powder eyeliner with that darker brown color right there just on my eyebrow brush. And I will do the slightest little wing right here, and then I will usually just flick it out with my fingernail to kind of make sure it blends out. Here's an up close at what everything is looking like. The eyes are just very kind of glittery and smoked out, which I feel like is great for whatever occasion. I'm going to wipe off the bake now with my Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder. This is in the shade 1. I just put it on like a fluffy brush. I tap into that, and then I will just sweep everything away. I do like to leave my cheekbone bake on a little bit longer while I highlight. So I'm using the Benefit Cookie Highlighter on a little pencil brush, and I'm gonna highlight my inner corners, and then also I like to bring it just a little bit under my brow bone. Also gonna go back and highlight the bridge of my nose and the tops of my cheekbones super lightly, using the same highlighter with this like fluffy brush. I don't wanna do too much because I definitely wanna stay more matte when I'm doing these like high glam looks, but a little bit of sparkle and shine always helps. We're so close to being done. I'm just gonna curl my eyelashes and then use some CoverGirl Bond mascara. I'll probably do like 2 coats of this, and then I'll show you how I do my fake lashes. Mascara is all on. Now I'm gonna use these Be Blinky cluster lashes. You can get them at Target, or I have them linked in my Amazon storefront, and I actually glue them underneath my eyelashes, so let me show you how. So my favorite way to do cluster lashes is just underneath the lash line. You will put glue like on the top of the lash band instead of on like the side of it, and then you'll be able to just stick it right underneath your lashes like that. And I love the way it looks. I feel like it's so much more comfortable and it's so easy to do. That is how they look. It's not a huge difference, but I like it's just like a little subtle darkness around the eyes. So now I'm going to finally wipe off my cheekbone bake, and we are basically done. This is also the time that I will go back and like add anything else if I feel like I'm a little washed out, but I think everything looks fabulous today. So I'm gonna lock it all in with my One Size setting spray. We are all set and ready to go. I'm gonna do my lips now. I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in Iconic Nude, and I will overline my lips, and then I'll come back with some gloss too. We are all lined. I'm gonna use my Fenty Beauty Gloss in Fussy. I adore this stuff, and if you want a drugstore alternative, the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in Moon is like an exact dupe. Here is everything close up. We are officially done. This is my favorite go-to full glam look, so I hope that you loved it, and if you stayed this long, thank you so much. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.